And there's a common misconception that Marines don't get scared. We're actually taught one of our core values is courage. And courage is not the absence of fear, but how you handle fear. And, you know, I was scared for myself, but I looked around, I saw women and children. He was yelling in their faces, saying these threats. I couldn't just sit still.
It's called using your better judgment.
Right.
And I think that Daniel Penny used his better judgment in this situation. Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. So Daniel Penny, you guys, Kara just told me that he's found not guilty.
So yeah,
this makes me very happy.
I was going to be really annoyed if he went to jail when Hunter Biden just got pardoned by his father and he's an actual criminal.
Right.
And then this soldier
does this,
who protects, and then we got people like George Floyd, known criminals, getting 4 funerals in a gold casket, who was also a criminal his whole life. You know what I mean? And we got Hunter Biden's, Biden's son, who's also a criminal, getting off. And then we got this soldier who then literally protects people on a train.
Oh, so
just go to jail. That would have made me angry, I think. So
in case you're living under a rock, you know who Daniel Penny is. You don't understand who Jordan Neely is. He was on a subway train in New York City. Jordan Neely, he has been arrested 40 plus times. For things similar to this. When he was on the train that day, apparently he got really upset. He said he was tired of being broke and homeless, and he went on to a whole spiel. He threw his coat down and just started spewing off, I'm ready to die for this. And so it terrified the people, and all the people on the train, so much so they all just kind of moved out of the way, and he was being aggressive with them. And so Daniel Penny, 26-year-old former Marine, was on that train as well, and he felt like he needed to take action, and so he did. But we have a video of Daniel talking about this with this whole thing, and it's quite interesting to hear it out of his mouth, because it's kind of like resonates a little bit differently when you hear it from the person, what they were thinking when they were going through this. So I'm gonna play the video of Daniel talking about this.
Took the Uptown F train at 2nd Avenue. A man came on, stumbled on. He appeared to be on drugs. The doors closed, and he ripped his jacket off and threw it at the people sitting down to my left. I was listening to music at the time, and he was yelling, so I took my headphones out to hear what he was yelling. And the 3 main threats that he repeated over and over was, "I'm gonna kill you, I'm prepared to go to jail for life, and I'm willing to die." This was a scary situation, and Mr. Neely came on. He was threatening. I'm 6'2", and he was taller than me. So it was, and there's a common misconception that Marines don't get scared. We're actually taught one of our core values is courage, and courage is not the absence of fear, but how you handle fear. And I was scared for myself, but I looked around, I saw women and children. He was yelling in their faces, saying these threats. I couldn't just sit still. Some people say that I was holding on to Mr. Neely for 15 minutes. This is not true. I mean, between stops is only a couple minutes. So the whole interaction lasted less than 5 minutes. Some people say I was trying to choke him to death, which is also not true. I was trying to restrain him. You can see in the video, there's a clear rise and fall of his chest, indicating that he's breathing. I'm trying to restrain him from him being able to carry out the threats. And then some people say that this was about race, which is absolutely ridiculous. I didn't see a black man threatening passengers. I saw a man threatening passengers, a lot of whom were people of color. The man who helped restrain Mr. Neely was a person of color. And then a few days after the incident, I read in the papers that a woman of color came out and called me a hero. I don't believe that I'm a hero, but she was one of those people that I was trying to protect. We were all scared. Mr. Neely was yelling in these passengers' faces, and they looked terrified. The reason why there was no video at the start of the altercation was because people were too afraid getting away from him, and the videos didn't start until they saw that situation was under control. I knew I had to act, and I acted in a way that would protect the other passengers, protect myself, and protect Mr. Neely. I used this hole to restrain him, and I did this by leaving my hand on top of his head to control his body. You could see in the video there's a clear rise and fall of his chest, indicating that he was still breathing. And I'm calibrating my grip based on the force that he's exerting. And I was trying to keep him on the ground until the police came. I was praying that the police would come and take this situation over. I didn't want to be put in that situation, but I couldn't just sit still and let him carry out these threats.
I mean, we lived in New York City.
Yeah, I was going to say
for 10 years. You know what I mean? And I could tell you, there are a lot of homeless people and just a lot of mentally ill people that they've either been on the street a long time, they're on drugs, they've been drinking. Because a lot of times homeless people, especially, I know in New York, they drink a lot and they do drugs. And a lot of them will be mad at you and start to do things like this.
All the passengers really were happy about what Mr. Penny did. They were very happy and relieved. There was someone there who took action. It was brave enough to do that. And I will say, like Kara was saying, we lived in New York for 10 years. Kara and I both we took the train for all 10 years every day. Every day we were taking the train for all that time. And I will say, I was telling Kara earlier that throughout that time of having to take the train to work and whatever, there was always an incident on the train, whether it be minor or major. There was never not a time where it wasn't like an incident, things that happened on the train. So New Yorkers, I think, will understand this. There's always something, and then every once in a while, you'll get things like a Jordan Neely that will be mad at life and get really aggressive and start to say a lot of threatening things to all the people in the car, and a lot of time the passenger, especially when the train is going, we all don't know what to do because you're on there with them, especially if they're in that state of mind while the train's moving, because there's no out yet. You can't get out, so I can imagine that they were terrified, of his behavior. That's the one thing I think about New York that I can really relate to when it comes to this. It's just that alone. But I am happy that I was hoping that he would just be let off. This would just all be over, mistrial, whatever it needs to be, because there is no reason. And I want to say before I say this, this is a lot of the reason why people don't take action. You see a lot of videos that go, oh, these people not even doing anything. They're watching this happen. No one's doing anything. Well, a lot of the reason, most of the reason, if not all of the reason, why good people don't do good things in a situation like this, even if they wanted to, is because they'll be faced with their life in prison, or time in prison, or jail, anything. And their life can be turned upside down just based on you just being a good Samaritan. And I think people are really nervous with that now. People don't want to take action.
Remember back in I think it's in Boston, but if you look at the because this was a real law. If you look at the last Jerry Seinfeld show where they went to jail, they went to jail because they did this Samaritan law. And
Good
Good Samaritan law that if you saw someone getting attacked and you didn't do anything, and on the show they laughed at this man getting, they were laughing at this man getting mugged because he was overweight and it was funny. They thought it was funny, and so they got arrested because they didn't help him.
Right.
And that was a real law. And so you used to get arrested for not helping. Now you're getting arrested. There's a video that went viral for a while, a few years ago, of like 3 or 4 black men on a train in New York watching this woman get. She was actually getting attacked by a person like Daniel Penny just walking, and they didn't do anything. They were just sitting there. And then the person that had the camera was showing the men just sitting there watching this woman get, and they were all younger men, like 21, and they were just looking. And someone was like, are y'all going to get up and do anything? And they just like, no. But, the reason why I think, like Daniel said, the reason why a lot of people don't is because
something that mean
they don't want to be Daniel Penny.
They
don't want to sit in a courtroom, because now men used to care about women getting attacked. That's when women used to act like women. But now when you open a door for a woman or you say something nice to a woman, men get treated like they're sexist. Now. So now everything that men would try to do, would do earlier, they don't naturally do anymore. And so when you see a Daniel Penny come, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe a 26-year-old who actually decided to do something. There are so many times, like you see things that used to be that aren't. Men don't get up for women anymore when they walk into a room. They don't get off their seat for a woman to sit down. That just doesn't happen as much anymore. They don't hold doors open for women anymore, and a lot of that is because of us. It's just because of us, and we've trained a generation of men to not have to treat us like equals.
To make it seem like it's that what's that thing they call it? Toxic masculinity. They call it that.
Now, if this was 1960, 70, or 80, and Daniel Penny would just be, this would never happen. But because we're in the world of feminism, which is again, I don't like talking about feminism, but I do like talking about it. Because this is what it causes.
Yeah.
It causes people like this man to not be a man.
Yeah. And Daniel couldn't help it because he is I know he doesn't like to be called a hero. I get it, but he is. Because, y'all, Karen and I were talking about this earlier. I remember this one, okay, so we take the 6 train, right? Lexington Avenue 6 train. And there was a man that was always a homeless man who was always on the 6 train or that avenue. And he was a really big guy, like really like tall, and his statue is large, very big man.
And when we're saying he almost looked, have you ever seen that show Harry Potter?
Oh yes, he looks just like him.
He looks just like
What's
him,
his name?
like the big guy.
I'll put a picture of him up. What's his name?
Oh, he looked exactly like his man, only black.
Very burly, and he wore his shirt was always the guy's t-shirt was always ripped,
just big like
just
that.
Really big and sloppy. And it was there was one time we were on a train, it was a pack train, and this guy took I don't know what it was. He just centered his focus to my sister and I.
He wasn't an old guy. He was probably our age at that time. I don't know. He didn't look.
It was weird. It was weird because we were just. For whatever reason, he just centered focused on my sister and I. I don't even know why.
It's a packed train too.
It's a packed train. He was trying to intimidate us, but he wasn't yelling at us. He was. He was just staring at us and like by
he was
us.
saying something to us, but he was like.
But it was weird. Everyone was just looking at him because he was so focused on my sister and I. And he was saying, and obviously mean things, but he was mumbling.
Homeless. If you ever live in New York, there are people who are just homeless, and there are people walking around with Coke cans in their hair.
Yeah.
And they take all of their.
He's trying to look crazy.
Their like luggage that they've collected. They take it down the hall. They go between the cars. They keep doing it. He was one of those types. He was like the one that just had all this stuff on him, and it's almost like. I almost got this feeling that he almost felt weird for the first time.
I don't know, because we looked at him. Everyone looked at him. It wasn't just us. Everybody was looking at him like, whoa. Because he's what's the word?
He was just like that guy.
Yes.
He was just like that guy.
Intrusive presence into the car. So when he would go from car to car, people would immediately go, whoa. Like, because he was just so big and crazy looking. And I remember.
But I didn't go well. We didn't go well. I think we just looked at him because everybody else. I mean, he was walking past us.
But it was a packed train, and for some reason he just centered.
He just turned around. He just focused and looked at us.
And just looked at us, and then people were looking at him, look at us, and so they were like weird, like right? And so we didn't say anything to him. We didn't want to, we didn't want to do that to make it worse. So we just kind of let it go. But he looked at us for so long, and it was so intimidating, and. A lot of people were just like, "Why is he looking?"
Yeah, I mean, I work
Why is he looking at them like that?
A merchandiser at Macy's, and so sometimes I had to work at night.
Yeah,
and I would never go into a train car. Because I took the trains back and forth even at night. I would never get in a train car where there was nobody. Or even just one or two of us. I always made sure I went and saw where the crowd was, because their women have been attacked on trains by homeless people.
Yeah.
And by just not, crazy people.
Yeah.
And so, look, I don't understand how. It's just sad to me that this trial even happened. When people shout out these, I want to die, I'm going to kill you, these kind of things, even if they don't have a weapon. You're in an enclosed area like a plane or a train, that's scary. You don't know what they're going to do. And it is very scary on a train. Mm-hmm. And again, because it's an enclosed thing. There's a closed situation that you're in, and so the passengers on this incident, I believe all of them said he was very scary because it looked like he was going to do something. Like, I don't know what he was going to do, or pull out something. I don't know, but
Jordan felt, or Daniel felt, well, I should probably do something before he does something, because he's going to do something. And this is I can imagine the thought going through his head, like, if I make this decision, this is going to be a situation.
I think he literally just thought, I need to, restrain him and get the doors open so these people can get off in case something happens.
And he said he was praying that I was just praying that the police.
I just feel like the celebrity culture and everybody try to, again, just like George Floyd, try to take this black man and make him into some kind of poor, pathetic victim in the world. And I'm like, no.
Look at his rap sheet.
It's like George Floyd's rap sheet. You know what I mean? No, you don't get to just do that because someone is black. When I look at these celebrities who do that, and knowing that they would never have invited George Floyd or this guy in their home when they were alive. Yeah. But they'll pretend like they liked them once they're dead.
Right.
So do the politicians. They do this. And I'm just thinking, I'm just sorry. But, because New York is a very woke judicial system. This is why everybody was afraid for him. They don't like men being men. They don't. This should never have gone to court.
This man, stupid.
This was a stupid thing. You know what I mean? It's just like
waste of taxpayer money.
If watching Hunter Biden get pardoned, this overprivileged buffoon and drug addict get pardoned by his father for doing actual crimes,
and a Marine,
and then watching a Marine who's literally putting his life on line for other people.
It's just
you'll go to jail. That would have really annoyed me.
Yeah, that would have made me. We would have did several videos on that. If this man had gotten, oh my God, I wouldn't even know what to say. I would be so upset if he had gotten, found guilty on this. It's just absurd to think that he would ever get found guilty on this.
You don't just put people. I think we racialize everything. And we forget that, like, what in context was actually going on here. You know what I mean? And so, to me, I think a lot of unfairness. I feel like criminals are getting the slap on the hand these days. They're over here doing snatch and grabs, and you're allowed to just do that. You know what I mean? They're just getting the slap on the hand, and then actual criminals are getting raised up and immortalized like they're Jesus. It's just like I don't like. This is why I wanted Trump to win. It's because I did feel that there was some sort of, I feel like the Democrats were really just sort of making it seem like you can just kind of do anything. Come to our country illegally, you don't get in trouble for that. You can snatch and grab, you don't get in trouble for that. If you're a white man and you kill some black person, no matter if you're, a cop, white guy, or if you're just a passenger white guy. If you kill a black person, you're automatically, because, black people are never liars.
Yeah, apparently.
That's how they act. We're not racist and we're never liars. You just believe us all the time. You know what I mean? Anytime you try to help a woman, you're a sexist.
Yeah.
Anybody, it just felt like up is down, in is out, and I just felt like we need to go back to common sense.
That's the thing, is that's what we've gone back to with this Trump being president, is common sense. Jordan Neely has whatever problems he has, and people are like, oh, you can't blame a guy on his rap sheet. Just because someone has a rap sheet doesn't mean that he was going to do anything wrong with this situation. And so what I say to that is okay, so if you have not been to jail before, you can probably say that maybe you're not going to do anything wrong. If you've been to jail 40 plus times, there's probably a higher chance. The odds are that this guy's not stable. And so I do take in consideration his rap sheet. Of course I'm going to take...
If a man molested a child or a woman molested a child, you going to let them babysit?
Right.
Their past will matter.
No, right. It's called using your better judgment.
Right.
And I think that Daniel Penny used his better judgment in this situation. And he probably saved these people's lives because God knows what this man was going to do.
It's just so, because, years ago, I worked at a convenience store. It's back when I was like 19, I think, or 21 or somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I think it was 21 because we sold cigarettes.
Yeah.
Maybe 20. Yeah. I thought it was 18. But I got robbed at night. And there was a man a guy that I saw every night, he lived in the apartment building, because I lived around some apartment buildings. And this guy, I saw him come in. There's nothing I could do because we had this long fountain. He jumped over the counter. He got all my money, and I was terrified. And I saw the guy that I see her all the time, and he just looked at me like, don't say that I'm here.
He was hiding.
Because he was going to, do something. And then the guy did see him eventually, and then he put the knife up to my, throat. Yeah. And he did get him. You know, they had a little scuffle for a minute, and the guy ran, and they chased him, and then he got arrested. Yeah. The guy who was helping me.
Yeah.
And he was a Marine.
He got arrested.
Yeah.
Oh, they thought that he was the one that doing this. Okay.
I thought he was a Marine. That's interesting. I thought he was a Marine. And they were like, I was like, no, it wasn't him. It was it was another guy, and they were just like, oh, and they saw the cameras, and then they reeled it back. Guy. But I'm just like, it's funny though how you could be mistaken. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How the Good Samaritans sometimes get...
Which is why a lot of them don't take action. They don't do things.
Which is why I don't. Right.
But I know a few people on that train were just like, I just didn't want to be a victim of something. I mean, like, and I don't blame them because they were right in a situation in an enclosed space where they didn't want to be a victim of something. It's really a terrifying thing when you encounter something. I've been robbed. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've been robbed too at work. And y'all, let me tell you.
It's scary.
When this person, when he got in, it seemed like everything happens in slow motion when you're going through a traumatic situation, but he had a gun, like he put the gun literally right to my forehead. I can't explain, like, when you're like a victim, when you're in a victim situation, there's a fear that comes upon you. You want help. You just hope that someone's there, and there was no one there, right? So it's just me and this person, and here I am at gunpoint dealing with this situation, and I'm thinking about these, like, so I can imagine, like, these passengers had to have some relief, that this guy just stepped in. Because, like, I would be so happy if that particular day that would happen to me, that had a Daniel Penny was there.
I had a Daniel Penny.
Yeah,
with me. Did, and I tell you, even though he was still on the side, I felt a bit more relaxed knowing
I know, right?
That this guy, it was like there, and I knew him, and I felt like I had a feeling that everything was going to be okay.
Yeah,
and it was.
Yeah. And that's, what's funny is that when I got robbed, and I don't even know, sometimes I feel like this is why I might have a belief in God, because there's a certain, when this is happening to you, like, I had no other, like, out but just to deal with what was happening, and for whatever reason, an extreme amount of odd calm came over me, and so I just was yes. I've never felt that type of calm in my life. And I've been, like, I've had struggles and stuff in my life, but I had never felt that type of calm. And so it was like I was not shaking. I was just dealing. But when he left, that's when the breakdown happened. Mm-hmm. It's as if God was just trying to keep me, like, okay, just get through it. You're gonna be fine. So, look, guys, being a victim of something is not... I'm happy this went well for those people in that, because we have New York City. There's been some crazy stuff happen on trains because it's enclosed, and the crazies get there on purpose because it's enclosed. And if it's moving, even better for them. And so I'm glad that this worked out for them, because I know, like, a few of them were like, just weird. I feel oddly victimized because, not that he came and attacked me, but he didn't attack you. But what he did is he put you in a state of fear.
But this is the reason why I think we go hard for men.
Yes.
I go hard for men because I feel like those are who's going to protect you.
Yeah.
In the end. You know what I mean? Yeah. In the end, we don't want men being Van Jones. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry to say. Yeah. Coward men who blaming everybody for everything and I like a woman who's equal to me.
No.
I don't like that. That makes me very uncomfortable. Yeah. Thinking that there are men who think like that. And I think because we've been so cushy and we've had such a soft, comfortable life, we've created weak men. You have. And, like we were talking about the military the other day, how we have all these weak men in military, like, we can't have that.
Yeah.
We need strength, and men are the strength of our, and Daniel Penny is one of them.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's 26 years old gives you hope that this generation is not going to just fall in line with feminism and become, like, pointless. You know what I mean? We all have purpose, and I feel like his purpose, he gave purpose that moment.
God placed him there for that reason, for that moment, to help these people. And
he's over here being a soldier outside of being a soldier.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of men that do this, by the way. It's not just doing a penny. You know what I mean? There are a lot of men who just, you know, and I've experienced it, where men just help me.
Yeah. This is why we're such advocates, though, you guys. And people always go, oh my God, you guys want the patriarchy? Yes, we do.
I do.
This is why we're such big advocates for the patriarchy. If you notice, like, some of you guys are new to our channel, you'll see in our videos that we do speak an awful lot, and we will continue to speak an awful lot about roles and women and men being women and men, and not resisting your natural position in that. You know, we all know that we all live different lives. We have different interests and stuff like that.
Responsibility.
I'm talking about the core, what it means to be a woman and what it means to be a man. Do not resist the naturalness of that, because when we resist the naturalness of being a woman, we end up with feminism. When you resist the naturalness of being a man, you end up being a do for Harris. You don't resist that. This is why we always push masculinity, unapologetically masculine. We don't believe in toxic masculinity. We don't. And people go, oh, well, you know, what about the men who beat women? Okay. That's not even masculine. Men that beat women, or men who are just can't control their emotions, that's not even masculine at all. Don't even put the word toxic in front of it. It's
masculinity, it doesn't have anything to, I mean, if we're going to call that toxic, then we can call all those women on the View toxic femininity.
Yes.
I think feminism is toxic.
It is.
But for some reason, we don't, even people who don't like feminism don't say that feminism is toxic femininity. It is. You know what I mean? But honestly, I don't even think that's feminine.
No, it's not. I'm saying,
but if we're going to call that toxic masculinity, then the other part has to be called that too. And I just think that when we keep things, you know, I'm Christian. I believe in order. And I think that when you keep things in order,
yes, exactly.
Then you have less problems. When you start going out of order and we try to confuse things and try to, you know, all this man can be a woman can be a man, you know, all this stuff. When we confuse things, we create chaos. Yeah. And God is not he does not create chaos. He creates order. We create chaos. And that's why we have the country that we're in. This is the reason why I feel like I always say, you know, look, I'm not one of those women that are going to pretend like I'm like a man. I'm not. And I'm not going to pretend like men don't do a great service to this country and to this world. Just because I'm feeling some sort of way I'm feeling insecure about being a woman. And I don't see the point in doing that. I think women do a great service too in another area. But for some reason, we have been put in this place where we're now competing against men instead of working with them.
Right.
And I don't understand that the standards of woman is you're not crap unless you can act like a man, until things like this happen, and then all of a sudden the only one that's running to go help is the man.
Yeah, because back in the day, no one would be on the fence if Daniel did the right or wrong thing.
This would be normal.
His reaction would be completely normal back in yesteryear. Today is he's sitting on trial.
We got to stop this whole thing that when, you know, tragedy happens, it's all of a sudden the person who did the tragedy.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that just because you kill someone you were actually wrong.
Right. So this is why I don't trust what I see immediately. This is why I'm always looking at things, you know, and making sure we get the story of all the accounts get out there.
I've been fooled too many times.
Yeah, I am not doing that anymore. Listen, one clip is not going to show.
Nope, I need to see the
Derek
whole tape.
Chauvin's situation, that whole half an hour debacle that he was putting them through.
They showed you 8 minutes. Remember the whole 8 minutes?
Oh,
it was 8 minutes.
It's a bunch of crap.
It's just like, no, it wasn't 8 minutes.
Yeah.
That went on for, I mean, if you watch that whole video, I mean, that was obnoxious.
Those cops
for a long time.
Yeah, those cops really did. Those cops really gave a lot of chances there, you know. And so I just feel like,
sorry, but
I believe that. I believe in law and order too. Y'all. The moment I saw smash and grabs, and people are now they're organized. Now they're doing it in an organized way. They're just like, okay. Yeah, we can do this here. And now the department stores and things are allowing them to do it because...
But you create criminals doing this.
Yeah.
You know, you do. You create... When there's no law and order, you create people that then become like this. Yeah. You know, they think they can do whatever they want. And the people who are very... Especially these days, people are very entitled. And they think they're owed something all the time. They'll do stuff like this. They'll go on trains and act a fool. They'll steal.
Remember that guy we did a video on? we did a video. Oh gosh, I'll link it above. But where this black guy got on the train, New York as well, got on the train and started hurling out like racist comments
to this white couple
and his child.
Me too. Yeah, so you're Caribbean and up your ugly body. Nasty ass mutating permute. I don't care about you. Shut up, you white monkey. Okay. You a dog in this country. You're a dog. You're nothing over here. You are a dog. Shut up. I'm Black American.
And he's just the husband doesn't really know what to do because I think I know what he wanted to do, but I think
he knows.
I think he was assessing the situation. This guy is just crazy, but he got so close to him.
Well, he was in their face.
Yeah, he was.
And I think he wanted to probably hit him. But the truth is that if he hit a black man, they would have said he was abusing a black man. Yeah. That's the way that's the trap that you put like white people in sometimes.
And he's just saying a lot of racist things to these white people, and it has now just become openly okay just to be racist if you're black.
Sorry.
It's unbelievable. You guys, this is all facts. This is it's almost like an episode of the Twilight Zone. Where you can't believe that this is how it's all got flipped upside down. Now it's just literally okay to be outwardly racist if you are not white. You can do it. Joy Reid does it. She's on a whole network. People don't take steps anymore like he did because they just don't want to get arrested, y'all. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest with you. There's good people that want to do something good and step in like he did. They just don't want this to happen to him.
The hassle.
What if he got found guilty? He is in a liberal town, which means the peers are probably going to be pretty much liberal. Thank God they got some common sense.
Well, I mean, what's his name? The kid what was his name? The kid that oh God, what's his name?
Rittenhouse?
Rittenhouse.
Kyle Rittenhouse.
And they were all like, oh, he didn't kill one black person. He killed a pedophile. But I mean, these people, there are people who are in prison right now for this.
Yep.
It's nuts. I'm glad he's not guilty though. I didn't want him to get some low case, some low sentencing.
It wasn't a mistrial. It wasn't a mistrial. It's just not guilty.
Not guilty.
I'm glad that's.
I want it to be not guilty because he is not guilty.
All right, well, you guys, let us know what you think about that. Leave some comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this whole case.